All right, so what's your name? Where you from?
My name is Yuri, and I am originally from Nicaragua, but I was actually raised in Miami all my life.
Miami. Okay. And how old were you when you came to Miami?
I was one.
1 years old. One
Yep.
year old. See, I always say 1 years. A lot of people say that. But all right. So you came over here. I'm guessing your parents brought you here at one.
Correct. My parents they actually crossed the border with three kids, me, my sister, and my little brother. And, eventually they got legalized, they became residents in the United States. But of course, I chose the wrong path in life, you know?
Okay. We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that. First and foremost, you do have a prison channel, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I've seen it from here to here and there. It's been in the comment section quite a bit, and I'm glad to have you on the show. If you don't mind, go and tell people what your channel name is and what it's about a little bit, really quick.
Okay. Well, thank you for having me, first of all. And my channel is just Women's Prison Talk. And I just actually talk about my experience as a woman in not only state prison, but federal prison.
Okay, so it's called Women's Prison Talk,
Correct.
and you've done time in United States.
Correct.
Okay, have you done time in any other countries?
No, but when I actually had to go back the second time, they put me in jail overnight.
Okay,
So that was an experience all on its own.
okay, we're gonna get to that too. All right, so first things first, and I think this is kind of important, especially in this time and age, with the whole, people getting deported left and right and this whole wall and all this crazy stuff going on. You say you've been deported twice.
Correct.
Okay, let's talk about the very first time that you might have, or how did you not become a citizen or whatever, all the
Okay.
processes. Tell me that.
Okay, so let me explain. So I was a resident. However, when you're a resident, they can still deport you.
Hmm.
You're not exactly a citizen, so they can actually take your green card from you. And that's exactly what they did when I went to prison. I got sentenced to 7 years, and after that, I got deported.
Yeah.
So leaving the country to a foreign country was, I can't even put into words what I felt, honestly. It was such a big change for me. Um, I went from living in Miami all my life to going to a third world country and the second poorest country on that actually side of the hemisphere. So it was very hard for me. It was just so foreign to me. Being over there alone, I have no family over there. Even to this day, all my family have already, are in the United States and they're legal there. Um, I just couldn't adjust.
Yeah.
So I crossed the border.
Okay, so that's what I was gonna ask you. That's terrifying to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm here since I'm one. I'm trying to put myself in your shoes. That's what I do with just about anyone and everyone that either asks me questions or comes on the show.
Yeah.
I've been here since one. And how old were you when you got deported the first time?
I was 29.
29. All right, and you are going back to your birth country,
Correct.
and your birth country you haven't seen. You don't know anything about it. You don't, except
Nope.
from what you heard from your family and stuff like that. And you have no family at all over there.
None.
Okay, so what the hell did you do when they let you out?
Well, when they first let me out, I will tell you this, I was very lost. And I knew a girl from immigration, from the holding detention center they had us in. I was there for 3 months before they actually deported me. And she was there for a month. So we kind of, we started talking and, just like people do when you're in jail. And she told me this is my second time being deported. So I kind of told her my story and she was shocked. I mean, she was so shocked. She was like, so what are you doing when you leave the airport? And I told her, and she was like, just come with me. So I kind of did spend the day with her. I thank God for her because I would have been completely lost. Um, and because of her, she actually taught me a lot from the country. She taught me different places. So that actually became my only friend for the time being. Of course, then I got to know the country a little bit more on my own. But those first couple of weeks were life changing.
Yeah.
um I got to the point where I didn't even know what I was doing anymore. I was so lost. I felt like my only way out was to go back.
Mm. Well, let me
I
ask.
don't. Mhm.
Let me ask you this, if you don't mind me asking. What was the reason why you went to prison for the first time?
I went to prison for armed robbery,
Armed robbery. Yeah, that will get you deported.
but I caught that case when I was 17.
17. Oh yeah, that's kind of strange. Uh,
So it was like 2 weeks away from being 18. They actually direct filed me.
how did someone like you do an armed robbery? If you don't mind me asking.
Well, I didn't technically do anything. I was actually just in the car. Of course, I kind of knew to a certain extent. I didn't know it was going to turn out to be like that, but I was actually just in the car. Um, and then when everything blew up, the problem was that it was my car. So that's where everything actually turned, and that's how I ended up getting charged with that because it was my car I was driving.
Was a guy involved?
Correct.
See, I don't understand that, man. I understand that he's caught red-handed. Now, if I were in that position, let's say Brittany, my wife, I'm sure you know who she is, and let's say she's the getaway driver. If we were to get caught up, I would do everything in my power to say, look, she had no earthly idea about anything that I was doing. You know what I mean? And was that the case for him?
At all, at all. But then that goes to show it doesn't matter whether it's male or female. Some people are just gonna sing as soon as they get interrogated.
That's absolutely insane. And was he? I'm guessing he stayed in America.
Oh yeah, he did. He stayed there. He was a citizen from there.
Damn, that dude ruined your life for
He did.
for the moment. You know what I mean? That's wild. That's absolutely insane story. A lot of people, they probably couldn't even imagine. You know, being taken away from their family and everything that they know and going to a freaking whole nother country where they know nothing. I cannot imagine that. I can't imagine that, and that's almost a scarier feeling than going into a U.S. prison. You know,
It is.
it is.
It is.
Actually, it's probably more. It would be more scary to me. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know what the crime rate is over there in Nicaragua. Is it pretty bad?
It is.
Yeah, and
It is.
you're where you at right now? You said you're at Panama.
I'm in Panama.
Panama.
Reason being, I'm not sure if you actually are aware of what's going on in Nicaragua right now.
Okay.
But the second time I was deported, maybe like, and this was a year ago, maybe like 4 months later, the country just went crazy. The president tried to raise taxes. So after that,
Civil War.
of course, yes, that's exactly what's going on right now. So I left. I left for my own safety. I felt like if, I didn't just get out of prison just to be killed in another country. So I left and I moved to Panama for the time being.
Okay. Let me ask you this before we get into how you came back. Let me ask you, before we get into that. How was prison? How was prison in Florida? I'm guessing. Was it federal or state?
Well, I did both. I did Florida state, and then when I got out, that's when I decided to try to I did cross the border, and I got caught, and I got 36 months, and I went to federal.
Okay.
But to answer your question, the first bit I did in Florida was crazy.
Yeah.
I was super young. I was 22 years old when I first went to prison, and it was foreign to me. I saw crazy, crazy things in prison, but I also grew up in prison. It's sad to say, but I did.
Yeah.
I had to, get to know who I really was in prison because, what I had to change a lot about me while I was in prison.
Uh-huh.
But it definitely was crazy. It definitely was.
Well, let me ask you this. What if you could say one, I'm sure you probably already told it on your channel, but I'm sure my viewers would love to hear it as well. What is the craziest thing that you could probably think of? And even if it's not super crazy, exotic crazy, just the craziest thing that you could think of that happened in a woman's prison in Florida. What would it have been?
I speak of this incident all the time because it happened right in front of my eyes. Of course, as you guys know, relationships in prison are very serious. women take it very serious, and for some odd reason, people don't even have to be gay going into prison, but they end up turning gay. And this situation right here is a perfect example. There was a couple that one of them wasn't really, gay or anything like that. And they broke up. They were together. They broke up. And one of the girls, the one that really wasn't, gay, she went crazy. She went crazy, and she saw the other girl with somebody else after they broke up, and went right while she was sitting on the benches and got a blade and just sliced her neck open.
Wide open.
That was insane. Right, and I was sitting right there in front of them. So I was shocked, honestly.
Love will make you do some crazy stuff.
They will.
I've seen some people, some gay dudes fighting over another man before, and all kinds of different things. I've told many stories. But yeah, everyone, from what I've heard from a lot of women, the relationship status when it comes to women's jails and prisons is a lot more frequent. I don't know what it is about y'all girls, boy. I'll tell you what.
It is, and it's a lot more intense. It's like you get real serious. Like that's one of the most fights that you see in prison are between couples.
Yeah. How did the COs take that? Like they got to know that they're couples. You know what I mean?
They do, but they can't stop it. I mean, if they don't catch you in the act, if they catch you in the act, of course they're going to move you. You're going to the SHU, and some officers would just walk by and not do anything about it.
Yeah.
But you got, your officers that would definitely take you to confinement, and but they know what can they do about it? Like they can't really stop it.
Yeah.
They can't be there 24/7 to try to stop something from happening.
Yeah. Is there any girls in there trying to force anything? Was anyone trying to force a relationship upon you?
No, not force anything. There was some crazy people, I would say that, that definitely tried, but no.
Yeah, like kind of harassing you all the time and stuff like that?
Absolutely.
Giving you good game pat on the butt all the time?
No, not that far. Not that far, but they did crazy things. Like they definitely would like go in my room and like leave stuff there, and like, watch when I'm leaving the quad, that that was the side of the dorm, or when I'm leaving the dorm, or like follow me from the dorm to education, wherever I was going. It got crazy sometimes.
Are the showers in women's prisons open showers, or do they have little cubby slots? How does that work?
Well, some of them are different.
I'm gonna be mad. I'm gonna be mad if you say y'all got privacy walls, but they give guys just freaking wide open hallways.
We do. Actually, there's only one dorm, and that was the handicap dorm. They had open bay showers. The whole compound did not. They had a door though. It's like a bar. So, and the way they did it, the shower curtain was a bed sheet. You just had to get one of your sheets and put it over the curtain, and that was your shower curtain.
Oh, so was it kind of like an inmate made thing, or
shower curtain?
Yeah. Yeah,
like it was just a bed sheet. Like the regular bed sheet that they give you. You had to actually get one of those and put it on the bar, because the bar would just open up, but it was individual showers.
Oh, so it did have a bar, so you could literally do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's all right. You know what I mean? All right. So Florida prison sound pretty wild for the women. What level was that?
I was actually a max. I was in the dorm with lifers because of my immigration hold. I was a 4 or 5. So. Yeah.
What was the lockdown status?
As far as, what do you mean, the lockdown stuff?
Like in a 4 and 5 over here, usually in a 5 over here in Virginia for men, it would be like 22 and 2, 22 hours in a cell and 2 hours out. Is that like that over there for women?
Oh, no. We had, it was normal. Like we went out, but the minute anything happened, because it was a maximum security prison, anything can happen, and we're all going on lockdown until they say so.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So you get out of this. This is what I want to hear. Because I've heard some crazy stories. You get out of Florida prison, and what it was, ICE waiting for you at the gate. How does that work? Because I always tell people that everyone that I know that has gotten deported, they say ICE is literally right there waiting for you.
Yep.
And then what do they do? They take you to some kind of other little holding facility.
Correct. So after, and this was leaving Florida prison, on my release date, they take you to R&D, which is, intake. So the day that, like, your EOS date, which is the date, your release date, they actually they take you to R&D, and they have you wait there. And as soon as immigration comes, then they take you to a different facility. So from Florida, I went to I was in Ocala, Florida, which is where the prison was at, and they drove me back to Miami, Florida. And they had a holding facility there, so that's where immigration was at.
Okay. And what, they just flew you from there
No,
to...
they drove.
You drove... Wait, no, I'm talking about from, let's say, I'm talking about when you leave immigration to go to Nicaragua, they fly you? How was that
Yeah,
flight? Was it kind of like a Con Air flight?
Kind of, sort of. What happens there is they actually take you from Miami, they take you to Louisiana on a flight. You'll wait in Louisiana for like a day or two. That's another reception center, an immigration center. So they take you from there. They would take you directly to Nicaragua, but it is a Con Air flight because you're in there. It's basically everybody that's getting deported back to that country is going to be on that flight. So it's male and female, just people that are getting deported back to that country.
Hey, is the plane like all metal, like a metal bus or anything like that? Cages in it or anything like that? No, it's just like a normal plane.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
a normal plane, but there's like 50 marshals on the plane. There's like 50 immigration ICE officers on the plane. So
Yeah, that's wild. That's wild. All right, so you're in Nicaragua. This is another thing I want to ask. What'd you do for money? I mean, did you ever get tempted to do something, that most girls do on the streets when they don't have no choice? You know what I mean? Nothing like
no,
that? Okay,
no.
how'd you end up making money? Just started working?
Well, when I first got there, of course, thank God I do have, my family. My family has supported me through everything I've ever been through. So I'm very grateful to have that. So they did, of course, help me out when I first got out of prison.
Oh, that's
And then
good.
yeah, they did. Then I got a job there. But of course, making the money that is actually made in Nicaragua is what, $500 a month?
Yeah.
It wasn't anything. But then the cost of living isn't high at all. So $500 a month for one person is you can actually live off of that.
Yeah.
So I did get a job, but it wasn't enough for me. It wasn't enough. It wasn't what I was used to. Life, I just couldn't adjust to life there. I felt like if I didn't make this move, I was probably going to end up going crazy.
Yeah.
So, of course, I consulted with people and I said, you know what, I have to go. I definitely have to go.
So you're about to make your journey back, sneak on
Correct.
into the United States once again.
Correct.
Let's
And I
see
will
it.
say it's not cheap
It's not
at
cheap.
all.
See, I told stories, people sell everything they have to make it over here, And
Yes.
so let's go ahead and hear that. Let's hear your side.
Well, it totaled up to almost $8,000, and that
Mm.
was from Nicaragua. I had a guide. That's what they call them. They call them guides. Of course, in Spanish is something else. And a guide would take me from Nicaragua, and he took me up to the point to Guatemala. From Guatemala, I had another guide. So they kind of switched you off, different places. They gave you different guides, but you always had somebody that would guide you through, where you were going. So we took a bus from Nicaragua to Guatemala.
Let me
Guatemala.
let me pause you really
Yes.
quick. Let me pause you really quick. I'm sorry. Would you say that these guides? Well, first, is it hard to find a guide? Is there guides everywhere?
No, from my country, it's hard. It's
Okay.
hard. I had to talk to a lot of people to finally get down to one person.
Okay, and not only that, I hear a lot of these guides are actually linked to cartels.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
That's kind of who's running these things. Honestly, like, these are the people. Once you get to Mexico, you see organized crime. Like, I couldn't even believe it.
Okay.
Um,
I'll let you
so they
henceforth.
have this, organized all the way. They have, the federales paid off. They have. It's unbelievable, honestly. So from Guatemala, we got on a boat for 12 hours, and we actually made it to a part in Mexico, which is Veracruz. So from there, we worked our way on to, up towards, like, close to Texas. But the rides there, everything was crazy. You stay in safe houses, sometimes for a day, sometimes for more than a day. And these safe houses have tons of people in there. People from all over the world, people from China, people from all over the world. I was very surprised. I didn't, think, I thought for some odd reason it was just Spanish people, but no, it's people from all over the world. And, you get your way closer to Texas. And once you get to the border, which is a lot in between from first getting to Mexico all the way to the border, it's crazy stories in between. I probably stayed at 10 different safe houses. Finally reaching the border, I stayed at another safe house and I was there for almost a month. I tried crossing 3 different times. The first time I almost got caught. So I had to actually run from immigration, which was crazy, but I felt like I came all this way. I'm not just going to let these people catch me.
Yeah.
So I definitely had to get away, and I did. The second time I tried to cross again, and mind you, the guides are with you. They're guiding you, telling you where to go, directing everything. They have somebody on the side of the United States watching everything. They have somebody on the side of, Mexico watching everything. And, they're doing everything or either through phone, through, walkie-talkies, through, stuff like that, where, of course, nobody can hear their conversations.
Yeah.
And they try to guide you to, they walk you through. First of all, of course, you have to cross the river. That's obvious. Anybody has to cross the river.
The Rio. Okay, so this is what I want to ask. So the times that you say you did it 3 times, so you made it on the 3rd try.
Yes, I did make it on the 3rd try.
Third time's the charm.
It was.
That's what they say.
This is the thing. Now, I crossed the river, and this was the crazy part about it. I crossed the river. I made it to the destination. I made it to the car. We were leaving the car. We were driving away. And about 15 minutes later, when we were almost to our destination, we got pulled over by a state trooper. And that's where everything ended. And I was so angry that I just went through this whole long month and a half to end up being stopped by state trooper. And of course, state trooper had to call Border Patrol. And it all ended right there.
That's crazy. And $8,000 down the drain.
Yep.
That's unbelievable. And you said, and you didn't try, did you try to do it again after that? No?
No.
Yeah.
No,
you
I
said
got
screw that.
36 months.
Yeah, okay. And before we get into your federal time for that, what was I going to ask? Oh, do you think that this wall that they're trying to build is going to stop anything? No. Do you think it will make it harder for individuals to get across the border, like the way that you did it?
No.
No?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
No. Once I was actually there and I realized how the cartel works, I realized how, that side of the country actually works. I realized that no matter what they do, they're not going to stop it. They had actual tunnels where they would take you underneath, to cross. These people will come up with any way to get over. And I understand why now. Because the way of life is so different. And now I understand from a different point of view why so many people try to make it there.
Yeah.
They're not trying to. Most of them, I won't speak for everybody, but most of them, they just want to work. Because making $500 a month, that's nothing. You can't feed a whole family off of that. So I've been in both shoes. I lived in the United States all my life. I went to another country and I saw it both. And now I can actually understand why so many people try to do it. But no, to answer your question, no, I don't think it's going to stop them from entering the United States at all.
I'll tell you what, I've had a few people on here. This is the most interesting story I've heard. It's you said you're in the process of trying to write a book. I would definitely buy that book. I'll tell you, because this is, I still can't even imagine living in the country for that long since you were pretty much born, and then they just taking it from you all because of a little bit of paperwork. Or not only paperwork, but of course you committed a crime, but it is what it is. Like my mother, she just finally, I think it was last year, or yeah, beginning of last year, I believe she finally got her citizenship, and that was like a huge thing to her, and she's been living here for over 50 years and just became a citizen. Yeah, so I don't know what you have to do, but I pray you if you do want to make it back here, don't you?
I will eventually.
Yeah, I believe you will. Trust me, I believe you will, and I pray that you do, and I pray it's a lot sooner than you think. You know what I mean? But anyways, let's get back to the federal penitentiary. How was that? How was that different compared to the state?
It was nothing. It was nothing. I tell you, federal is, you can't even compare the two. Um, State was a lot more violent. There was a lot more real people for real crimes in there. Federal was, I mean, all they did there, honestly, as far as females, they just snitched on each other about any and everything.
Yeah.
That's it. But it's, of course, a lot cleaner, a lot more organized. There's a lot more freedom. There's a lot more programs than there is in a state prison.
Yeah.
But it was nothing compared to state prison at all.
Yeah. People say that the feds is like the suburbs and the state is like the damn projects.
Worse than the projects.
Well, I'll tell you what. Look, I'm not going to make this video too much longer because I could go on and on and on, and because I have a lot of questions, because I haven't really talked to anyone that's been in female prison, federal and state, and has been in anywhere close to the shoes that you walked in. But hopefully we can have you on the show again here soon, and we can ask some more questions, and maybe I could get, read the comment section to see, maybe they can leave comments for questions they might want to ask you. And once again, your channel is Women's Prison Talk, and I think you need, like 500 hours to get monetized? Let's get this young lady that 500 hours, ladies and gentlemen, so she can get monetized and help her dream come true of getting back to the United States to her family. Okay, she has changed her life. She's working hard, and I can tell she's got a good head on her shoulders. And I appreciate you for coming on to the show once again. And if you got anything else you'd like to say before we leave, by all means.
Well, thank you so much for having me. Honestly, that's all I can say. It's been a pleasure, and I'll love to come back anytime.
Hey, I can promise you that you will be coming back on the show, and I really do hope this brings subscribers and views your way, and I really do pray. And tell my mom's gonna love this video. I ain't gonna lie, because she can relate to a lot of the stuff. Like, my uncle's been deported, and he went back to Colombia, and he can't come back either. So, this hits home a little bit on my side, my mother's side of the family as well. So. But yeah, this was a great video, very informational, very interesting. It had me captured the whole time. And once again, thank you for coming on the show. I wish I had you on here sooner.
It's okay. I'll be back. Don't worry.
All right, you take it easy now, all right?
You too.